college team at the Emily K Center. Today, we're going to be discussing college match and college fit. I have three of my other colleagues in this workshop with me, Rachel, Christina, and Jackie, and they're going to be supporting me in the background. Let me first start by introducing who we are. We are from the Emily K Center, and Emily K Center was started in 2006 as a holistic college hub that supported students from as early as elementary school. Presently, we support students all the way up to college. We were started by Duke University's basketball coach, Coach Mike Krzyzewski. And at the Emily K Center, we have 4 different programs, 2 high school programs, 1 elementary and middle school program, and 1 college program. The elementary and middle school program is called Pioneer Scholars, and they support students through tutoring and different enrichment activities. The Scholars to College program, which is another high school program, supports students based on a cohort model. And that has been a long-standing program at the Emily K Center. We have the Scholars on Campus program, which supports the students who are on college campuses, because the Emily K Center, again, believes in supporting the student all the way until they graduate from college. Then you have our program, which, as I said earlier, is also another high school program. So why do we have 2 high school programs at the Emily K Center? While Scholars on Scholars to College has been successful over the years, we thought as a center that we would create a more open program that is more student-centered as opposed to cohort-centered. And we would practically do very similar things, but working with students primarily through the one-on-one advising. We also have our workshops that we, for the most part, do in schools. But today, as you can see, we've started doing many of our workshops virtually, and this is one of our virtual workshops. With the Game Plan College team, we believe students, and we encourage students, to come to us however they want, and wherever they are in the academic sojourn. And we will support students not just in 4-year colleges, but in any of the many options that they have for post-secondary options. And for those of you who are wondering what are post-secondary options, these are educational opportunities that happen after high school. So these students are, so students who go to school after they graduate, they would be enrolled in a post-secondary institution. So today, we have 4 objectives. The first objective that we have is we want participants to be able to discuss why it is important to discuss match and fit. The second objective that we have is for participants to be able to explain the difference between match and fit. The third objective is we want participants to be able to distinguish among safety schools, match schools, or read schools. And the final objective that we have today is we want students to be able to select the best colleges for themselves. Now, to begin our presentation, we thought it was best for us to use an ongoing or extended metaphor. The metaphor that we'll be using today is shoes. As such, I'm going to present a scenario to you, and I welcome your participation. So unlike other times we muted you, we're going to try and unmute you today. And if you have an opinion, you could just share, all right? If you prefer not to speak, we encourage you to type your responses. And again, Rachel, Christina, and Jackie are in the background, and they're supporting me. So they would also read your comments if you would prefer not to speak them yourself, but write them. So here's a scenario. You want a pair of shoes, and someone offers you the pair of shoes, okay? You want a pair of shoes, and someone offers you the pair of shoes. Would you take it? That's the first question. So yes or no, would you take the pair of shoes? And I'm waiting for the responses. And if, again, people can respond, or Jackie, Christine, and Rachel, feel free to read the responses to me if people prefer to write them. Any response there, Jackie, Christine, or Rachel?
Yes, so someone said yeah.
You said yes. Okay, that's fine.
Someone said, are there strings attached? Adesha said yes if they're my size. Kevin, depends on the size of the shoe and size.
Okay. My next question would have been why or why not take the shoes. But some of you have asked other pressing questions. All right, so let me give more. Do you think having more information would help you to make this decision? Yes or no, you can respond in the boxes. Or is a shoe a shoe?
We're getting lots of yeses.
Okay, so I think people want more information. All right, that's fair. But I thought we want a shoe. So if we want a shoe is a shoe. All right, but let us continue. Now, would you take the shoes? You, in your specific circumstances, you know who you are. Look at the shoe properly. Look at everything about the shoe. I'm showing you everything. It's a very expensive $3,000 Christian Louboutin shoes. Think about it. Let us know. Give us your responses again in the chat box. Would you now take the shoes? You seeing the shoes, would you take it?
No, I do not like wearing heels. Someone said no. Someone said I'll pass.
Again, this is a very expensive Christian Louboutin pair of shoes.
Kevin said that shoe wouldn't fit.
Even if it doesn't fit, there are many things I can think of with doing with that shoes.
He will take the money though.
I would, yeah. I agree with that person. All right, but let us continue our metaphor here. If you would like more information, what more information would you want and why? So this is an opportunity for you to type now, because I've shown you the shoes. I'm sure that you want the shoes. And if you would want more information, what more information would you want? Because you could have done many things with that pair of shoes that I just showed you.
So why are they giving us the shoes? 2, could I get the money to buy my own shoes?
Okay, very
Why would someone want to give me designer shoes?
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, I'll go on with our scenario. You want a pair of shoes, the pair of shoes that you initially wanted. You wanted a pair of shoes for a 5K cross-country race a day after unusually heavy snow in spring. All right? That's the additional information I'm giving you. Would you take the shoes? Again, remember the price of that shoes and everything. Would you take the shoes? I'm now telling you why you needed the shoes. Would you take that pair of shoes that I gave you? And again, I welcome your responses.
Someone already said no. No. Kevin said that shoe doesn't fit the required task.
But I'm thinking if it were me, I could sell that very expensive shoes and buy a very cheap shoes for $20 and then go on my run.
No, they're not suitable for a race.
Okay, and that's fine, not suitable. And I love your responses, okay? Now, you've already shared with me why and why not, so very good points you've raised here. What concerns, again, I'm allowing you, this is the last time we're going to take your opinion here for now. What concerns do you have about the shoes and your run? Are these concerns valid or legitimate? Or are these concerns just simply mind over matter? And again, I welcome your responses.
Valid.
Valid. Okay. They're valid. So,
they're valid. The shoe would do more harm than good.
Okay. Good point. Now, when it comes to, is there another comment?
Breaking my ankles running.
Now, when it comes down to college match and college fit, best match and best fit, it is the same concept. It's just a different issue. And I want for us to use this extended metaphor of the shoe as we continue our conversation about college match and fit. Because the reality, as some of us discussed already, we could have done many things with that expensive pair of shoe. The reality is all of us want expensive things, but if it doesn't fit, why take it? Despite the price, is there value in taking the shoes? And those are the questions we're going to be considering today. Now, feet size matches shoe size. This is a very, so somebody had said earlier that, it's not my size. Well, the reality is sometimes the shoe size might in fact match your feet size, but as somebody else said earlier, I don't wear heels or they would make my ankle break or it's just too uncomfortable. So the reason I'm using this metaphor here is to underscore, not because there is a match for you with regard to college, and we are going to define match later, but not because a college matches your size, you must think that that's the college that is right for you. Now, before we delve deeper into the whole college and into the whole match and fit discussion, I think it is important for us to pause to look at the concept of GPA. So we all know there are two types of GPA, weighted GPA and unweighted GPA. Later in this presentation, you'll see me using unweighted GPA, and I tried to use it because I wanted to create a more standardized process. However, colleges most times talk about weighted GPA. With weighted GPAs, there's a lot more variance because many schools, high schools will say my GPA goes up to 5, and some other high schools will have their GPA going up to 6. So when I say variance, I mean the number is not consistent with where the GPA scale maxes out. Another thing I want to point out is that with weighted GPA, it takes into consideration your honors courses, your AP courses, and your IB courses. And so that will not inflate, but make your GPA look better on a scale on a 4.0 scale. On the other hand, unweighted GPA is more standardized because it's always on a 4.0 scale. And with this, there's very little variance across school. Now that we've understood weighted and unweighted GPA, let us delve deeper into the whole concept of match. When we talk about match, we're primarily talking about numbers. Because we're talking about numbers, match is usually more objective. And I'm putting that in air quote because there's a lot to unpack with the many biases and systemic inequality. But match is more objective. College match is about the numbers regarding your high school GPA. It is about your test score, whether it is in your ACT exam or your SAT exam. And again, with regard to match, you're taking into consideration whether or not you have taken your AP and IB courses and how these help to make your GPA better. With match, because so much is based on numbers, you can always refer to the different colleges that you're interested in. You can always refer to their website or even a simple Google search to find out where do you fall with regard to matching. So if you know, for example, your GPA is 3.7, you can look at the different colleges that you're interested in, look for average GPA for college X, or if your GPA is 2.9, you do the same thing. And if you find that your GPA is in the same category as that average, there are decisions that you may have to make. And if it's not in the same average, again, there are decisions that you'll have to make, which we will of course discuss later. When you go to the websites of these schools, they most times publish the last year of their admitted class. In other words, the students who are presently in their freshman year. Now, we're just giving you some examples here, and these are actual scores for Duke University and UNC Chapel Hill and NC State, all North Carolina schools. Those are the scores that their freshmen, the present freshman year has with regard to the test scores. So depending on your test score, those are options that you could, viably consider. Now, in talking about match and fit, it is important that we recognize within match and fit, the subcategory is reach, match, and safety. What's the difference between reach, match, and safety? With safety, it is essentially a school that you see that your GPA and or your test scores falls right in line, if not exceeds that particular college's test score. So if your GPA, for example, is 3.5 and a college you're interested in is their average GPA for the freshman year was 2.5, that's going to be a safety school because you know for sure, well, barring a few things, but you know for sure that you are going to get into that school because your GPA exceeds, for the most part, or your test score exceeds, again, for the most part, that school you're looking at. You also have match. Matches, you know what? You're right in line with that school's score. So if a school has their average ACT score for 32, and your ACT score is 32, you're a perfect match. But keep in mind, not because you match, you'll automatically get it. But I just want you to keep that in mind because there are many variables that colleges think about in admitting students. But a match means your scores, the numbers that you're presenting, whether they're on your transcript, representing your GPAs, or whether they're your test scores, this is going to be dealing with match. When it comes on to reach, these are schools where you might be slightly under their average scores. And again, average means there are going to be some scores that are higher and some scores that are going to be lower. And they usually, by the way, meaning colleges, oftentimes use the middle scores. And so it therefore means 25% of the scores are going to be higher and 25% of the scores are going to be lower. And if your score is about 25% lower than the average, by standard deviation I'm referring to, by the way, it would mean that that school would be a reach for you because you more than likely may not get in, but you do stand a chance. There is still some probability that you could potentially get into the school. So that's what reach is. And so when we're advising students about applying for college, we do advise students, you know what? Try to apply for some safety schools, math schools, and reach schools, okay? And we encourage you to do the same. Now, presently in the United States, according to the Association of American Colleges and Universities, there are over 5,300 post-secondary institutions. 2,618 of these are actually four-year colleges that are accredited. So I'm not talking about any private university that is for profit out there that is not accredited. I'm talking about universities and colleges that we encourage students to attend because they are well respected, okay? And we know that people have looked into, the experts have looked into them and thought that the curriculum that they have and the program that they're offering is a very good one that will ensure that, you know, their graduates are ultimately career ready. Now, in North Carolina, there are 195 different post-secondary institutions, all right? 458 of these are also in Texas. When you look at community colleges and trade schools, all of those things, including beauty schools or plumbing schools, all of those are trade schools. That's what I'm talking about. With regard to four-year colleges and universities, 79 of these are in North Carolina and 143 are in Texas. Now, here it is, we're presenting you with a map of the different colleges across US, and this was provided by US News. So you can take a second and a few seconds, I'll give you about 10 seconds just to look at it. The white portion of each pie chart is simply talking about the tuition and fees. The green part is talking about the acceptance rate. Sorry, the blue part is talking about the acceptance rate. Now, today, we have selected about 12 colleges that we want to consider. I know many of you will have many other colleges, and perhaps none of the colleges that you're actually considering are in these list of 12 colleges, but I just want for us to focus on these colleges just for today. After today's discussion, you can go and focus on any other college. The reason we're focusing on these colleges is we want for us to, again, focus on the concept of match. And in looking at match, I'm encouraging each of you just trying to guess the GPA of these respective schools and then see where your GPA presently is. Would you be a good match for these schools? Feel free to use your notes if you'd like, but let's go. With these colleges that we've listed here, we have colleges across the spectrum, from the very high GPA, and again, we use here for these discussions unweighted GPA, so we convert everything unweighted. But these colleges here, you can see a college, there's a college for everyone, literally. And these are four-year colleges. If we're talking about four-year colleges, just look at these. And these are colleges that I deliberately try to include whether, well, I won't tell you the variables that I considered, because I want you to consider them as you're looking at these colleges. But look at these colleges. You know, if it's just your GPA, many of these colleges will be suitable for you, all right? And I show you this because there is a college for everyone. Again, I've said before in previous discussions that I do not subscribe to the view that not everybody can go to college. With all the support, especially learning support that we have out there, college can be for you if you're willing to work hard to enroll into college and to pursue that college degree. The same thing is there for people who can't afford college, like myself and many other people on my team. Even if money becomes an issue, there are ways that you can pay for college. And so let us try to get rid of the thought that college is not for everyone, because even in stating it, what we do is inadvertently perpetuate the many systems of inequality and inequity across the United States, because there are supports that are in college, and even if there are not adequate support in some college, we should advocate for more of these support to be available. So looking at those colleges listed, we know, you know, there's a college for everybody, all right? We'll continue. In thinking about college though, it's not just about your score. You matter as well. So don't just think about a college saying, you know, just because I have this score, that means, and the score falls within the average for that particular college I'm looking at, that's a college for me. No, there are other variables that you have to consider when you are thinking about your college. Keep in mind, this is somewhere that more than likely you'll be living for 4 years, your next 4 years. Keep in mind that this is potentially somewhere that, you know, you may meet a spouse. Keep in mind, this is somewhere that will prepare you for your career after your 4-year degree. So the place that will become your home for the next 4 years, you should make sure that you matter in deciding where you choose to go. Think about the distance from home, the college size, the cost of the college, the geographic setting, the academics. Is it too rigorous for you? Do they offer the program that you want? What's the culture, the atmosphere at that college like? You know, is there, you know, enough clubs or societies or sports that I really love about some colleges? Are those activities there? Think about admissions criteria. Think about all of these things when you're thinking about college. It's not just whether you match at college according to the scores you present on your transcript or on your test scores. It is also about you. What are your preferences in a college? What do you want in a college? In many of the college discussion series that we've had, some people have rightfully and consistently asked, you know, is housing guaranteed for 4 years? Because that matters to some people. Other people, that's not a factor. But each of us is unique. And because of this uniqueness, we need to find that niche, that academic niche, that campus that will best accommodate our idiosyncrasies or preferences and everything about us, and our ambition, of course. Now, going back to the running shoes that we have, or, you know, this expensive Christian Louboutin shoes, we're going to think of this again as an extended metaphor, but not the point I'm making again is I'm using this as a match. So yes, I wanted the shoe, I got the shoe, okay, perfect match, but is it suitable for what I want to use it for? And the answer again may be different. You know, when we talk about fit, it is more nuanced. Earlier, I told you that when it comes on to match, it is more objective. The opposite here. When it comes down to fit, the best fit, it is far more nuanced and subjective, both for the college and for you, by the way. You have to think about how well you will mesh with that particular college culture when you start attending that school. You know, if you want to be a physician, a medical doctor, does this institution allow you the program to pursue at the undergraduate level to ensure that you will do well at the MCAT? Does this institution, which is an enrollment exam into medical school, that is, does this institution offer medicine even? And I'm not suggesting that you have to attend a 4-year college that offers a medical degree for graduate school for you to go there. But oftentimes, the schools that don't offer medical degrees also offer good pre-med programs or just programs that will ensure that you are ready for medical school. Think about your attitude and your skills. If you know that you're not ready to work very hard, or if just generally you've not been working very hard, don't put yourself into a school that will be too rigorous for you, all right? Think about the culture. Think about the urbanicity, and by urbanicity, I'm thinking about some people want to live in a place that is in the mountains, so upstate. Some people want to go to that school because it's in the mountains. Other people want to be in the middle of a city, so like UPenn, it's right in the middle of Philadelphia. Other people want to think about the finances. Will this school be able to fund me? Because my parents are extremely poor and I can't afford anything. So if I were to apply to this school and get in, how likely is this school to fund me? And oftentimes you can find this information to on the school's endowment fund, on the school's website by looking at their endowment fund too. Look at gender. Some people prefer to go to schools according to gender. Some people prefer to go to a single-sex school. That's why you have schools like Meredith for women, or you have schools like Morehouse for men. Some people would prefer going to a college that is a predominantly white institution, and that's quite fine. All the colleges I went to here were predominantly white institutions. Other schools, other students, prefer to attend HBCUs, which are historically Black colleges and universities. That was quite fine. But you know what things matter to you. Some people prefer to go to a liberal arts university. Other people prefer to attend a school that is very small. Other people want to go to a school like in Michigan with 40,000 students. But it depends on you and what you want. You try to select the school that is best for you. Keep in mind though, while I want you to be realistic in your dreams, I want you to also be a diva. And keep in mind too, that the higher your scores are, whether it's your test scores or your GPA, the higher your scores are, the more active you are in extracurricular activities, meaning the substantive roles you play, it is the higher the probability that you'll have the option to choose whatever you want, okay? But with a lower GPA, you become more restricted. So I encourage you to ensure that you do your best in school, that you take all the support your teachers offer you, your family offers you, in ensuring that you can be the best candidate when you're applying to the respective colleges you intend to. What matters to me in a college? So that's what we're just discussing. What matters to me in a college? That's what matters. And in talking about this, we talk about the cities, specificity. We were just discussing that. You have to look for the things that are specific, that are of specific interest to you. Don't look about the things that are of interest to your friends. And don't choose a college because that's a college your friend is choosing. No, you will succeed without your friend. You can keep in touch with your friend. In this modern age of technology, your friends will always be there. Even if they are 5,000 miles away, they're just a telephone call away, a FaceTime call away, an Instagram, a Snapchat, a TikTok, all the many different social media. You can quickly communicate with your friends. And reciprocity is important. Don't go into the college application process from a liability perspective, thinking that you don't have much to offer. Students, you have a lot to offer. The school has a lot to offer to you too. So there is reciprocity here. So you go into these applications having worked so hard and done so well and built such a distinguished reputation among your teachers and administrators and counselors that you go in knowing that this school wants me as much as I want them. If it's even for the money, the school wants you. If it is for your academic prowess, the school wants you because they know you're going to make them look well. You know, when it comes down to you want the school's the same thing. You know you want that four-year degree. So there is that reciprocity. They want you and you want them. So don't just enter the process thinking, you know, it's a school that has my fate in their hand, because whether or not you get into that school, there is always hope and you'll always do well. And there's always another chance. And there are many, many, many different pathways to ensuring that you do well in life, however we define well. It's all about you. It's more than shoe size that is a match. It's more than your test scores, okay? And it's more than your GPA. Fit, and in essence, fit, again, talks about your specific needs, your interests, your preferences, and many of these are non-academic factors. Think about your clubs, your sports, your family obligations, employment, the reputation you built and that I spoke of earlier. And these will be shown through the letters of recommendation that your teachers, your administrators, your counselors, whomever you ask to write these letters of recommendation. Colleges will know how unique you are. Colleges want unique students. But how will a college know I'm unique? Well, that's why they require essays, because you will write about your own unique circumstances to encourage people to get to know you better and want to know you more and want to have a conversation with you. And for that reason, they will take you into their school. As I mentioned, recommendation letters, I want to use this time as an opportunity to remind students of why it is so important that we respect those around us, not just our teachers and counselors, but our students, our fellow students, because letters of recommendations are going to be written about you. And however you have demonstrated yourself to be as a student, it will matter ultimately, because these are the people who are going to talk about how you've treated your classmates, how you've treated them, and how you've distinguished yourself among your peers as a leader. So keep all of these things in mind that you want letters of recommendation letters later from your teachers. So the 3 major questions for college choices. What are my grades and test scores? That's dealing with match. Where do I want to go? And what do I want to do? That's best fit. And can I afford a school? Even if you're poor, that's the question that you're still supposed to ask, as I did as a poor student, because there are ways, many ways, that you can pay for college, whether it is through loans, grants, scholarships, work study. There are many, many different ways to pay for college. So don't make "I don't have any money" be an excuse for you not going to college. I also want to use this opportunity to speak about undermatching. And the reason I'm speaking about undermatching is not to encourage students to apply for schools that are too rigorous for them. No, because I don't want students dropping out. I'm talking about this because undermatching is also an issue, presents an issue of inequity in our society. With undermatching, with undermatching, I want you to know that students oftentimes are especially poor students, they're oftentimes undermatched. In other words, they are forced to enroll in schools that they're forced, not to enroll in schools that they would have otherwise been qualified to enroll in. And the reality is, there are many schools out there that will pay for students who are poor, and many counselors out there, college admissions counselors, will encourage students, oh, don't apply for that school, you won't get in. But if you see that your GPA is somewhat below the average GPA, not significantly below, and you know that you've worked very well and have made considerable contribution to extracurricular activities, or including your employment out of school, part-time employment, try to apply for some, REIT schools, because many of these schools oftentimes will provide full funding for you as a student. I said earlier that unfortunately, undermatching happens in families that are with students from less affluent family, and we need to put a stop to that. Because there are many high-achieving, low-income students out there who can go to the best schools, but because they only have a limited knowledge of the schools and limited knowledge of the college access process, they don't enroll into the schools that they should enroll in, all right? With low-income students face several barriers to enrolling in good fit institutions, and this is why I'm talking about this undermatching here. And some of the barriers are, late college planning. If you're a junior, this is you're okay with now starting to plan for the colleges. If you've been attending these sessions and continue to attend sessions like these or this session, even if they're offered by other college access organizations, this will help you to make the best decision when it concerns college. Another barrier is limited support in the college choice process. Another barrier is underestimating your academic ability, which happens a lot even in classroom, where teachers or counselors underestimate students' academic ability. And we're going to try and continuously advocate for these things to end. And we're talking about it as a way that we want this to stop. And we want people to recognize that there are lots of ways, and I've said this a million times in this presentation, lots of ways to pay for college. So let us try in applying for college not to undermatch, Let us try to, yes, get our safety schools, yes, get our match schools, but yes, also include schools that are not too far a stretch, especially if you know that you have had a distinguished life at school, in your high school, and you've made substantive contribution to the different clubs or sports or whatever. On the matching is sad, and it is a reality. Among Black students, 49% of students do not attend the most selective colleges that their qualifications suggest they could. On the other hand, 41% of Latino students do not attend the college, the most selective college that their qualification suggests that they could. Now, we were talking before about the different colleges. I've listed them here again, and the reason we've listed them here is we want for you to think about, having discussed fit after we discussed match. Now, to what extent will the choices of college change? Because we had these same colleges, and some of you might have chosen some college but from here, but now that we've discussed fit, to what extent have your interest in some of these colleges changed? We see that Meredith is a women's college, Morehouse is a men's college, Carnegie Mellon is all the way in Pennsylvania. We have Benedict College was as low as 2.5 GPA. We have Yale at 3.97. We see that there are many colleges here in North Carolina. We see colleges too in Texas, Rice University. But I listed deliberately these different geographies and these different settings and these different GPAs because I wanted us to adequately think about the idea of fit and match, but especially fit in deciding college. When I first showed these colleges, it was just the GPAs that we were focusing on, but now that we've talked about fit, where is it that we think would be the best college for us? Now, so what? Many of you have already started the process, okay? So kudos to those who have already started this process. You should start the college access process from as early as possible. If you're in high school, start now. If you're in 9th grade, remember that you have to make sure that you do more advanced courses. So don't just do the regular level courses, do your honors courses, do your AP courses, all right? Do IB if they offer them at your school. Because and if they don't offer these more advanced courses at your school, the colleges will take these into consideration. So don't think you're at a disadvantage. Well, too much of a disadvantage when it comes on to college admissions. All right, because each school has to send in, each high school has to send in their profile for the student, the high school profile. I want to encourage you to continue participating in our daily college admission information session. That's how you learn about the school, so identify which school will be the best fit for you. Continue participating in our weekly post-secondary access workshop, like this one. Attend college fairs, and there's a college fair on Thursday. You can find more information about the college fair. We're not the one hosting it, but we encourage students to attend. It's on our Instagram account, so feel free to visit our Instagram account at Gameton College, and you can see that college fair that is on Thursday. So attend this virtual college fair that's coming Thursday, as well as other virtual college fairs. Universities, because of the coronavirus, are now offering college admissions, college tours, college campus tours. So go on these different universities' websites and see which of these tours that you can go on and see if you like that college and add it to your list or take it off your list. I want to also share 3 websites. They're there for you to record. So take a second and record, or take a photo of the website. We have bigfuture.collegeboard.org. We have collegeresults.org, and we have Coalition for collegeaccess.org. So use these websites. They will help you to determine the best fit and best match colleges. Among our team, we have different preferences for these different websites. Some of us prefer Coalition for collegeaccess.org because it's more open, and it will help students as early as 9th grade. Some of us prefer College Results because it takes issues of equity into consideration. And some of us prefer bigfuture.collegeboard.org because it offers some of the same things that the previous two offer. I encourage you, please continue to use our services as often as you'd like. Our services are free of cost to you. So please use our services as often as you like. There is no string attached to you using our services. We just want you to do well in school, and we want you to matriculate into the best college for you. So again, use our free services as frequently as possible. Feel free, again, to join us on our Instagram at Gameplan College. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gameplan College, or you can send us an email at gameplancollege.org, at emilykay.org. Feel free to go on our website, whether the general emilykaycenter.org website, emilykay.org website, or go to our more specific website, which is gameplancollege.org. Please remember that we're encouraging people to fill out the survey at the end of each workshop. We're going to now post the survey link. We just want to know how we're serving you and how we can improve our services. And you stand a chance of winning $20 for the survey each week. Now, we want to remind you as well that this afternoon we'll be discussing the topic, you've decided on a college, steps to enrollment, and this will be at 2 p.m. So especially for seniors, this one is going to be for you, but it is open to everybody, regardless of whether you are a senior. You can find the full schedule of all our series of workshops at bit.ly/GPC virtual. At this time, I'm going to open up for any question that you may have, and my team will assist in answering these questions. So is there any question for us?
Not right now.
Okay, so I'm assuming there's no question, Jack, is still right?
Correct.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us today. Again, please feel free to, okay, somebody has a question here. Christina, do you mind answering this question? How many schools would you suggest applying to?
There, so they say that 2 safety schools, 1 to 2 safety schools, 2 to 3 match schools, and 1 to 2 reach schools would be, or is the ideal number based on some research. So if you're doing the bare minimum for that, that would be 1 safety, 2 match, and 1 reach for a total of at least 4 colleges. There is some other research that say 9 is the magic number, so applying to 9 schools and 3 in each category. So the more the merrier. I would say for max amount, I would say 9 is probably a good max amount. I wouldn't go over 9 or 10. At that point, you're going to get very saturated with a lot of work.
And then there's another question. So this was a lot of information. If I'm a 9th, 11th grader, where do I start? So you can start by using the websites that Dr. Dwayne shared throughout his presentation. And also feel free to make an appointment with us. We have office hours during the day. morning and early afternoon. So feel free to make that appointment. We can chat with you via Google Hangout, phone call, and we can help you with that conversation and start thinking about college. And Miss Christina just shared that link where you can go and make an appointment.
So thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. Please, again, feel free to, we encourage you to fill out our survey just so we can know how best to improve our services. We look forward to seeing you this afternoon at 2 p.m. for our afternoon session. And again, please see our full schedule of college admission information session series that starts again tomorrow for the rest of this week. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.